Sumo! What Sumo? Let's go!
Relax first.
From the beginning.
This is just the beginning. Starting at Rite Aid, where they stopped all their liquor sales.
We learned about gold and silver tequila, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smoky.
Smoky. I picked up that.
It tastes more like whiskey to me.
Okay, has a finer age to it. Probably for the more mature. I'll stick to my wine.
That's fine. Love it, love it. Feeling good?
Yeah, it definitely takes the edge off a little bit.
Yeah.
All this bright lighting is really what geeks me out. I live here.
I assume you'd be used to this because this is your setup.
Usually I'm just in my corner, I'm doing my thing, I'm doing eyebrows, but this is definitely on the spot. It feels good to be back on the spot.
Yeah? Because you're like under lights all the time.
Yeah, you could say that. Different spotlights. But not usually the talking spotlight. The words, sometimes they're there. Hopefully they're there today. I think they're here.
Okay. All right. Fuck it. Let's get it going. 3, 2, 1, go. Welcome back to the Catch Up with Bryan Sumardi, where I feed my curiosity, and I have a special guest today. I don't know. I think she's over there in the closet. No. Oh hey. It's Kira Tai. Haggy. No.
I do have a last name. My stage name is what I go with. Because most people get my last name wrong.
Did I say it wrong?
Yes.
What is it?
Haga. If anyone is curious.
What's the origin of that?
Of Haga or of Tai?
Both.
Well, Haga is my mom's last name, so I guess it's Danish.
Eastern Europe.
Mm-hmm.
I need to go to Europe.
I've never been to Denmark. Apparently, like they're the happiest country in the world or something.
Wait, what?
You might want to verify that fact. Yeah.
Okay.
But no, Tai is really unique because I'd never had a nickname. And then when Barrett was a little baby, Barrett is my younger brother. He's 13 years younger than me. And when he was a wee baby, he could not say Kira. So for some reason, he decided to call me Tai. And Tai just caught on. So some of my closest friends and family call me Tai. Some of my clients even just call me Tai.
Interesting.
Yeah. And
for the longest time, I thought you had like an Asian side of you. So like Tai, that makes sense.
People ask me that, like, are you some kind of Asian? No. It's a nickname. And then Kira Tai, because I wanted a stage name for my performance alter ego. And then Tai Brows was just so perfect. It was really meant to be.
Tai Brows.
Yeah.
Why is that perfect?
Eyebrows, Tai Brows. I also do tie liner instead of eyeliner.
Hey.
Yeah.
I think my nickname's stupid too. My nickname is Sumo.
That's good.
I thought
you have a name that you can like mix up. Like Kira, like you can't shorten that anymore.
K?
Yeah, I got like Kiki or
Kiki, yeah,
all kinds of dumb shit. I was like, no.
You don't like that?
No, I really don't.
I didn't like Sumo either, so it was okay.
Yeah.
Everyone calls us names, and then we just gotta just roll with it.
Yeah.
All right, let me get into you. What do we do? So you do eyebrows, you entertain, and I feel like you model in here, like on the low.
Yeah, I don't have any one business title. I have sort of several businesses that help me do a lot of things.
Serial entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm. And anything that any one of my interests that someone will pay me for, I will turn into a business.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and that's a good way to live your life.
Have you been on Craigslist? I'm pretty sure someone will do so.
I've never advertised myself on Craigslist. Actually, that's not true.
Here comes the story.
One of my first businesses, I was a house cleaner. It was the business I became financially independent through.
Really?
And I would advertise myself on Craigslist, on local listservs, and sure enough, I got a full-time income cleaning houses, and it was great.
And I was just like on call. It's like, hey, you need me to come by? Boom,
yeah,
boom.
like I eventually like developed a clientele, so I would have like, the Robinsons on Tuesday and, the McCaffles on Wednesday, and I had clients just like every day. Some people would have me clean their house once a week. Some people it was like more like once a month. And you know, it was a really good flexible schedule. And most of the people, they were gone all day. So like I could roll in at 10 in the morning if I got up. I could roll in at 12 in the afternoon if that's when I decided to get up.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, but back to I did advertise on Craigslist.
Was that your first job?
That was my first self-sustaining gig where I wasn't relying on like a company to give me a product or a brand. It was the first time I was like, this is me, this is what I do.
Okay. What was before that?
Sales. That was, I give credit to sales as being my first journey into entrepreneurship. I sold Cutco knives. A lot of you will probably, if you have not been pestered at some point by some high school kid about Cutco, it will happen to you. Hear them out. It's a really great product.
They cut pennies. The scissors cut pennies.
The scissors cut pennies. The knives are really high quality too. You get a lifetime warranty on it.
No endorsement for Cutco.
Right.
No.
This is not a sponsored.
Not a sponsored podcast.
I got into that because my friend hustled me into that, and it ended up being phenomenal experience-wise. But I was not meant to be a knife salesman forever. So once I guess my market kind of ran out. I ran out of middle class housewives to sell knives to.
But I would assume it would kind of balance out, or just before the house cleaning.
Before, yeah.
Because that would be like hand in hand, kind of, if you think about it.
Yeah, right. I didn't try after that. Sales was kind of
not your thing.
It's a lot of hustling.
Yeah.
And
you're more creative.
Right. It wasn't my product. I was passionate about it, like to an extent, and then I at some point I had to walk away from it. But I did okay. I did really well. I learned about presentation, and the cruelty of the first 10 sales calls. Have you ever heard about that?
I did not.
Something that I feel like every salesman or every entrepreneur has to go through is basically your first 10 people who say no to you.
Okay.
And it can be soul crushing. So one of my goals in Cutco, like my first night, was to just call 10 people.
Yeah.
And try to get an appointment with one of them.
Yeah.
And like a good sales ratio is if you get
10%.
one person out of all those 10 people to say yes.
No, that's 10. If you get 1 out of 10, that's 10%.
That's all you need, right? And if you get 30%, you're like a genius. You're a millionaire. If that's your ratio. But so I got to my 10th phone call. I had people hang up on me. I had people like curse me out. I know what this is. And I got to my 10th phone call and I was probably like in tears, like sniffling. And
why would you say this to me? I'm trying to do my job.
I talked to this girl, Casey, and I just kind of was like, I just need to do a presentation. You don't have to buy the product. And she was like, okay. And
can you just talk to me?
Right. It was my first yes. And thank God she said yes. It ended up being one of my biggest sales, too. Her family was hilarious. They all gathered around the dinner table with glasses of wine and cheese, and I did this huge presentation, and they bought a ton of knives from me.
Sweet.
But yeah, the stamina, the perseverance that it took to get through those first 10 phone calls was agonizing.
Yeah.
And I feel like ever since like my experiences in sales and stuff, I've got way thicker skin. I've heard no a million times, a million different ways from a million people. And some people genuinely mean no, but some people are just like,
I don't trust you yet, but you have my interest.
Right. Yeah. You just got to find out where their needs are. And
it's kind of like manipulation in a way.
You're fulfilling a need. Some of the sales tactics are really pressuring, but you can decide if you're going to be a genuine salesperson. And I think when I lost that genuine spirit, that's when I walked away too. Gotcha. Yeah. Gotcha. But that's where I got my start.
Okay. Let's bring it back. The way back. Let's go. I really like to break down childhood because I feel like your issues through childhood kind of shape who you are and how you grow into an adult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so true. Okay, so my childhood trauma.
You grew up in Montgomery County. Let's start there. You said you went to Parkland Middle School.
No, that's McBro. I went to Sligo.
You went, that's right, Sligo.
So I don't have any super duper childhood connections in Maryland because I grew up for like my elementary school life in New York.
Oh, what part?
Queens and Albany.
Albany,
My
okay.
aunt still lives in Queens, but we stayed in Albany for the most part. And then
That's
I
where you
moved
got that thick
here.
skin. That New York.
Yeah, that New York, that bagel with a schmear.
Yeah, you got to see you in your Timberland boots and
My
J-Lo
hoop earrings.
jeans.
Oh.
Yeah, the hoop earrings. There you go.
With my name inside of them.
I didn't know that.
Jenny from the block.
With the hoodie.
Yeah.
Hoodie with the bomber jacket too.
The
Rolling.
skinny jeans with the rubber bands on the.
I thought that was a Montgomery County thing. That was like DC.
No, we had that. We had those things. I even had cornrows back in the day. There's pictures. There's evidence.
I've got to see this.
My mom can do mad cornrows.
Okay.
Anyway, so I had this childhood in New York. Where
You had a childhood in New York, and then when did you come? Did you come straight here, or where?
My stepdad at the time, he got a job in DC, and then we moved to Silver Spring-ish, and that's where I basically got inducted into what is now like Einstein theater schools and stuff like that. So I went to
Sligo.
Woodland Elementary for like 1 year, and then I went to Sligo Middle School. So pretty much I had like all my awkward teen years here. So I considered myself having grown up in Maryland.
Okay.
And then wait, where were we going with this?
We're just talking about childhood. Just growing up. Just a little quick story. So you went to high school, or you say you went to Sligo. Any crazy stuff there? I kind of blossomed in middle school. If I just little tidbit of me.
I went through a lot of really weird phases. Like I was a goth, I was a prep, I was a jock, I was like
In middle school?
People could tell you I'm not the same person.
You're very like experimental.
Yeah, like I needed to have that stuff happen to me to like figure out who I was.
Flashback forward real quick. Like, do you still feel that way? You still kind of like experimenting?
I feel like I'm constantly evolving, and I'm always open to like being someone new. Like I don't ever want to get complacent,
like pigeonholed.
Yeah, like I'm really adaptable. I can change. You can be whoever you want to be.
So
always
like a hippie.
Flexibility.
Flexibility.
Yeah. But
you want to stay here though. No?
I love DC.
I just like bouncing around topics and shit. You like DC? Mm-hmm. Have you traveled a lot? No.
I wish. I did not get the opportunity to when I was younger. My parents just didn't really do that. And then when I was like in like my early 20s, I didn't have the money to. No one was sugar daddying me or taking me anywhere. So
I was definitely just watching a YouTube about a girl who's on Netflix, who has a Netflix special.
And she's a sugar baby?
Well, now she's on YouTube talking about like her story, her past. Like she got into porn and stuff.
Oh.
She was like the escort service. Her YouTube is named The Redhead Redemption.
Oh.
I don't know. You gotta check that out.
Okay.
I feel like you would like it.
Her own type of entrepreneur.
Yeah, because I think now she started her own porn business company. Yeah. So she's like pimping out other girls, and then she was like, "Nah, I can't do that no more." And then now she's on YouTube.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You always gotta get your start somewhere. Yeah, and I mean, sex work is a legitimate business, legitimate work.
Have you ever thought about it?
It's crossed my mind. My dad is cringing. And I mean, if you know who I am as an entertainer, of course, I'm involved in some pretty sexually explicit stuff sometimes. Yeah, but I'm not quite there. So no, that's not in my plans.
Okay, that's fine. That's just a question, curiosity. Well, let's get into that. How'd you get into that? Because say like when I remember in high school, you were the cheerleader. You were doing your own thing. Say no one could tell you shit. You had a big issue with authority. It
was funny, like before I was a cheerleader, I was on the soccer team.
Okay.
And like it was kind of a bunch of like it was kind of a bunch of white girls who were like really scholarly competitive. Like they were all doing really well in school and like really competitive on the soccer field too. And I just wasn't about it. Like I'm surprisingly enough, like I'm a not a competitive person. Even as an entrepreneur, I don't describe myself as very competitive.
Okay.
There's other ways that I develop, like
recognition. No.
I was gonna like not competition, but just like
Competitiveness?
initiative.
Okay. Drive, motivation.
Yeah, right. There's other ways that I'm motivated, but competition is not one of them.
So what motivates you?
I don't like to, if you're competing with other people, the way I see it is someone has to be second place. Someone has to lose. I don't want to be second place.
Right.
And I don't want to have to be first place at someone else's expense. So what I try to do is I try to be so unique that there's no competition around me. I'm just trying to be an outlier.
I see.
So then you don't have to compete with anybody. Your shit's just so new.
Did you read often, by any chance?
Yeah.
You do?
I finally became a reader a couple of years back, and it's really good.
What do you like to read?
I read a lot of business books.
Okay.
Things like the 10X Rule, Business of the 21st Century. I read Steve Jobs' autobiography.
How do you feel about him, by any chance?
He's a cool guy.
Yeah?
Did some cool stuff. He was kind of an asshole. He did a lot of drugs.
I was going to say that. Like, do you like his style of how he created Apple and stuff? Like, how he ran Apple?
I guess I can't speak too much on that. I'm fairly ignorant, but I feel like the things I do admire about him is he was really gung-ho about his ideas. He did not let anyone tell him.
He believed in himself, for sure.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And, like, I mean, even as an entrepreneur, I can say that, like, if you're going after an idea, you have to be, like, delusionally optimistic about it. Like,
yeah.
You can't let anyone shut you down. And people will, and that's why you have to be so up there with how passionate you are about it. So I'll give him that. There's a lot of people who have that mentality, for better or for worse, you know?
Right.
I also feel like, I hate to say this, but like Donald Trump's campaign,
Yeah.
I feel like they didn't have it in their head, you know, we're winners, everybody else is a loser.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of why they won, is because they just had like this mentality, like...
They just had the drive. Because everyone had them as like the...
And then you got the Democrats over on the other side were fighting each other. They weren't fighting each other.
Right.
They were united.
Mm-hmm. Marketing.
So you can use it for bad things, you can use it for good things, and I bet you Steve Jobs was a mix of good and bad in all kinds of ways, but I think mostly he was good.
Do you want more wine, by any chance?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Well, I mean, the reason why I brought up books,
yeah,
so I read a book. This is probably my third time mentioning it, and I hope I can fully say this. I read this book called The Mask of Masculinity.
Ooh.
By Lewis Howes, and he breaks down like masculinity, which is like not exactly masculine, like it's what you associate with men, more like what happens when you come like. What reminded me when you had that, like you don't want to be second and you don't want to be first out of someone else's expense.
Yeah.
He breaks down the 9 masks, and the mask that I recall for that, it's the alpha mask. The alpha mask basically he stated was that like there's only winners and losers, where in reality it's in between.
Yeah, there's.
So like if you were competitive, I guess if you just like admit that you're competitive too, that like you should be fine being second, because if that's all you got, you're good because you're ultimately happy. And I want to bring up this other. I wrote an article too. About happiness versus pleasure. Do you think there's a difference between the two?
Ooh, I don't think I've philosophically debated that.
You never thought about that?
No.
So my article was about like pleasure is always there, like it's always coming. Like I
coming and going.
Yeah, well, not coming and going, but more like it's not forever.
It's fleeting.
Yeah, I relate it to sex.
Same with inspiration. Inspiration comes and they can go. You can't depend on it.
Like motivation.
Yeah.
Like it can get you to start going, but it won't keep you going.
It won't sustain you. No.
Right. And I think something that would relate to you when I think of happiness is like family. You'll always want your family, good or bad.
Yeah.
You always want them to be there. And then what I relate to you for pleasure. Would sex be relatable to you? Like when you have sex, you kind of just want more.
Yeah, totally. I'm stimulated by that. Who isn't?
Okay. No, I don't know. We haven't talked about that, have we?
No, and a lot of people have curious questions for me. I do have a modeling career where I participate in BDSM, and so
I
I'm
didn't know
not
that.
shy about it.
Okay. Sure. It was funny because I was on Instagram the other day, and Alice Little, I heard her from a podcast. She's a sex worker from the Bunny Ranch in Vegas.
Okay, I'm familiar.
She's like the highest paid apparently in the U.S.
Wow.
And she followed me on Instagram.
Oh, shit.
And that was after I listened to her podcast with Tim Ferriss. And they were basically talking about like how she does this like girlfriend experience, how she's like into BDSM, and how she teaches classes on BDSM.
Yeah.
And it got me curious because I was never in that field. Like it's different from me.
I got mostly immersed into it in like the last like year and a half or so.
Okay.
And it changed my perspective on sexuality and also relationships. And there's a lot of like misconceptions about like people being like particularly promiscuous or unfaithful or blah, blah, blah. Absolutely not. People in the BDSM communities taught me true trust and communication and boundaries. And once I got into
trust,
and consent, like there's a lot of awkward conversations that people avoid talking about, and BDSM people, it's just
open.
So different. Yeah, so open. They're men. It'll make you question your masculinity and your femininity. Like hands down, I've had to fight down my own ego sometimes.
Yeah.
Being jealous. Men too. They have to.
In relationship or just the acts?
Yeah, like if I ever want to get into a relationship, someone is going to see my pictures, see what I've participated in.
Right.
And
so this was like public, like I guess I'm ignorant to this. Like, is it just an orgy type of thing?
No. I don't participate in sex work. Like I don't have sex with people, but like I'll do photo shoots and
like for BDSM, like bondage.
Yeah, I do bondage shoots.
Okay.
And
so you're not really like all in BDSM, or are you?
In my private life.
Oh, okay. All right.
But like in these photo shoots that are public, I have a certain relationship with the photographer and stuff like that. A professional one, but like nonetheless, really open, really communicative. Is this okay? Like, can I do that? What images is he allowed to release? What am I keeping to myself? It's all it's talked about.
Yeah.
And in relationships too, it really helps you because maybe you're scared to ask that question.
Yeah.
Is someone
for sure.
okay with my kink?
Yeah.
Or is someone okay?
Like, don't think I'm weird, but I really like.
Yeah, I really like this, or hey, like, don't think I'm weird. I really don't like that. You know. I wish people would kind of like explore the world. It's first of all, it's very stimulating. Like, there's lots of fun things to do, like ways to experience it. It's not just all like paddle whipping and rope. It's so much more. But yeah, again, communication, trust, honesty, boundaries, those are...
You have my curiosity.
Yeah.
So...
It's a wonderful world, I must say.
How did you get into this world?
I think I've always been a very sexual person. I think men have an easier time getting away with it casually, and women, it's like, whoa, like, if you're sexually forward and you're a woman, it's very noticeable.
You should have been there in San Diego. San Diego, there was a swingers club, but as Marines, we weren't allowed to go.
And then there's other places where it's way more common. I feel like DC, you get a mix of, or in Maryland too, you get a mix of people who are really traditional and really conservative, and then you have like your flaming liberals. You got a lot of diversity.
Oh yeah, I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I was like, DC, you get a little more diversity.
Depends which way
here.
you go, right?
Yeah.
And I think I was always that person who like wanted to test boundaries. I came out as bisexual very early. I remember like I would bring home girls to my house, and my parents, they were aware. And I was also like, I appreciate feeling sexy too. I was always that girl at homecoming who had the short dress. Like that was just who I was. I really enjoyed the feeling of feeling sexy.
Okay.
And I mean, I got a lot of backlash for that. I can't tell you how many times I've been slut shamed or been called something I was not. But I finally, as I became older, became more confident, became more self-aware.
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, this is who I am.
Yeah.
I know that I'm not a homewrecker. I'm not promiscuous. I'm not. I'm just open and honest, and this is how I like to feel.
Yeah.
And if other people feel more confident when they are modest, that's their prerogative.
That's their insecurities. They're projecting it on you.
Yeah. And I mean, other people, they feel more confident covered up.
Yeah.
You know? That's, again, their prerogative. Mine is the opposite. But it's where I get my confidence from. And I mean, really, like, look at it. Who doesn't like to be sexy? Like, who doesn't like that feeling? And some people are public about it and some people are private. But I chose to be public. It was something that I just wanted to explore, and I probably get some of my kicks from sharing that experience to some extent with people.
Okay. Yeah, I think I've learned that recently too. Like, people have a need to be admired.
Or expose something that's really taboo. Like sometimes, like my exposure gives other people the green light to do it. So women usually say, "Oh my God, I'm so inspired by you," because I've always wanted to do that.
Right.
But I never felt like I could. I didn't have the guts to. And I'm like, girl, go do it. I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
And it just gives other people that path to.
That's awesome.
To go do what they've been wanted to go do. So y'all should go do it.
Yeah, I feel like I downplay myself too, because I get those same like comments.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I literally have a laptop, I have a couple mics, and I talk to people.
Yeah.
Like, this is just real talk.
Right.
And I think that's the biggest thing. Like, I think I told you earlier, like, I love authenticity and I hate fake. Mm-hmm. So, but the only time when I talk to someone one-on-one for, like, extended period of time, like at least 30 minutes at a time, like, you don't get to see the real person. Or you don't really get to meet them. Because, like, you see people in passing. Like, I work in an office, and literally my entire day, I'm like, hey, how you doing?
How's the weather?
Yeah, like, it's cold outside, right?
Yeah.
It's windy. What are you getting for lunch? All right, I'll see you later.
I hate small talk.
Yeah, I thought I was the only one.
No, I don't even waste my time. Like, you can just see my face get so uninterested, and like I'll stop participating in the conversation.
But then, how do you feel if someone's like straight up forward with you? Like, if you just like meet someone random, like, hey, how's your sex life? Type of shit.
Well,
yeah, that's like oh shit.
It depends. Like, you can kind of tell what people's goals are when they're talking to you. Like, I really don't. When someone asks me genuinely, hey, like, I'm really curious about the subject.
Right.
That's fine. But when people are asking me so that they can treat me a certain way,
What do you mean by that?
Like, they want to see how loose you are in conversation to try to get in there with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, one of my pet peeves is when a guy, like, 2 seconds after he meets me, asks me if I have a boyfriend. It doesn't matter. You should talk to me like you're gonna, like I'm a person. Okay. And, like, that shouldn't be your primary interest. Oh, is she available for me to fuck? You know, like, that's kind of how it makes me feel.
Well, yeah, I guess I don't want to get you in that terms of feel, because I honestly... the initial reason why I started the podcast too was because I had two women, like female clients of mine. Yeah. They were like, "Yeah, I hate being catcalled. I hate being walking around on the street, and then some guys like catcall or trying to do shit." And I think I saw a video on Facebook. It was like this girl was like walking on the street. This guy drives by, like, "Hey, ma," and then she literally like, jumps in the car with him. It's like, "All right, pull out your dick." Yeah. And then he was like,
"What do you think we're?"
Yeah, that's what I thought. Get the fuck out of here. And I was like, oh, damn.
What do you think we're going to do?
Right. Because, like, that's what I always thought, too. Because, like, I personally don't do that. But it's like, I've seen guys who do it. And I've seen that in person. When guys are, just, like, trying to hit on a girl, but then she actually bucks up. And then he's like...
where it's going. I got the same thing as a go-go dancer, too. When I first started dancing, the most common question... or comment I got was, oh, so you're basically a stripper. And I got no problem with strippers. I got no problem with sex workers. But that question, the way it's asked, you're trying to disrespect me. You're trying to, like, push my buttons to see if you can disrespect me. Right. And at first I used to laugh. I used to be like, no, I'm not a stripper. And then I realized that is not the appropriate response.
Yeah. It kind of, like, eggs them on to keep going.
Yeah. And, you know, you can't get mad either, because some people are making that joke because they don't know any other way to react.
Right.
And it's your job just to smile, take a step back, and calmly, assertively say, that is not my occupation.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think that's like a common, like, I think when I was 18, I'll think the same thing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because, like, I don't know. Like,
it's a funny joke. It's an icebreaker, you'd think.
Well, no, I didn't think it was a funny joke. I was like, I really didn't know. I was like, oh, you
what is it?
Yeah, like, you dance, you're, like, half naked.
That's
like,
what some people, I think the problem is, they just don't know any better. They've never experienced it, so they ask inappropriate questions, and you gotta forgive them, but then, like, there's also, we're getting into an age where ignorance is not acceptable anymore.
Yeah,
so,
sure.
I mean, even me as a sexually forward person, I have my boundaries. I don't want to have sex with everybody. I don't want everybody to feel like they can, see me in a certain, like, no, like, there are things I either keep private or I only do with certain people. Okay. But I get to establish those boundaries. And that's the beautiful thing about, I think, where, sexual culture is moving, and also, like, the feminist movement. And same with men, like,
the Me Too movement thing.
We all have this opportunity now to be clear about where our boundaries are, whether they are farther back or farther forward.
Like, I'm not gonna even lie. Like, ever since I started the podcast, I've been meeting more females who are, like, opening up to me. Yeah. And, like, they tell me about their past,
their experiences.
Yeah, and then it'd be like rape and stuff. Like, shit.
Yeah.
Like, shit is real. Like, why don't you say something about it? And then they're just like, no, it was just, had a bad past. It was wrong place, wrong time. Like, no, like, you should say something.
It's really weird. There is not a single female that I don't know that does not have a story. Put it that way. There's not a single female
I'm completely ignorant to
that has not been sexually harassed, assaulted, or made uncomfortable at some point. Yeah. There's studies shown where, men, when they talk about bad sex, it's because, their partner was passive or not that exciting. But when women experience negative sexual instances, it's because they're in pain, or they're emotionally coerced, or they're genuinely uncomfortable. And it's crazy to see that women have such a different experience. Yeah. And how we've persevered through it, how we're still, in my opinion, no one carries sexuality better than women. We do everything beautifully, even things that, would make men cringe.
I don't disagree at all. I don't disagree at
all. Carry it really well. We can make it into a career. We push those boundaries all the time. And we're just in a weird place where we're also talking about, like, what respect is, too. And it's enlightening. Yeah.
No, I personally think that, like, we all look good for women. Like, women look good for women. Guys look good for women. No one gives a fuck about us. Like, I don't want a six-pack for that guy over there. Even though we attract each other. Like, bro, how'd you get that six-pack? But then I'm really trying to get the girl next to me. Like, bro, I'm talking. Yeah.
Yeah, and I hope it also opens up the door, like, for men to embrace things that they might not have in the past as well. Like, there's like this term going around, like, toxic masculinity. Like, okay, there's bad parts about femininity and there's bad parts about masculinity too, but it's kind of our prerogative goals now is to I guess not define, but allow everybody to be who they are and maybe not categorize them so much. And I don't know where I'm going with that sentence.
I don't know. Like, how do you, well, I guess for you could probably say, like, you experimented to figure out what you really liked. Yeah. Yeah. I have the viewpoint of, if you kind of just, like, isolate yourself for, like, I don't know, maybe like an entire day, like, just don't talk to anybody. And then just, like, stay in your thoughts. Because for me, when I grew up, from, like, probably, honestly, like, when I was born till, like, the 5th grade, I have 3 older half-brothers, and, like, my parents were always working. So whenever I came home, I was kind of treated like the only child. Yeah. Because my next older brother is 11 years older than me, so we didn't really relate because we're also half. Mm-hmm. So I was kind of just, like, in my room. Like, I had whatever I wanted. Like, I had the essentials. Like, I had my bed, I had a TV, I'd watch cartoons. Like, I didn't think of it until I grew up, and I was like, once I got to the 6th grade, I realized that shit, I'm lonely.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then I was lucky that in my neighborhood, it was like a bunch of kids. Like that's when I noticed a lot of kids walking home, and I had just like brought up the courage and I'm like, hey, can I walk home with the other kids? It's like, who are the other kids? Like the other kids that are walking along this path, like coming back like where I live. And I think that's when I kind of like just broke out of my shell. I was like, all right, I'm tired of being alone, and I didn't really bring it together until probably like after high school. Like shit, I blossomed.
Yeah.
So I kind of like I started playing sports. I started being competitive, and that's how like I brought out my masculinity type of shit. And I think I guess since I was so quiet growing up, but I always want to say I was a hustler because like in the 5th grade I would sell CDs because that was during the time of Kazaa, LimeWire. So I would literally just like get enough money.
Kids these days will never know.
Yeah, exactly. You go to FYE, get a whole bunch of CDs.
Yeah.
Like, hey, just give me like write me a list.
Got your mixtape, yo.
Yeah, just tell me what to download. I download it, burn it to a CD, sell it for $10, double profit real quick. Until iPods came around and rid me out of business.
That's real hustling.
So I mean, for me, I kind of love that.
Yeah.
I love this communication. Like I love talking because of it.
Yeah.
Not really talking, but I like just like listening to people's stories because I was so like isolated growing up. Just like that's my background. I think what I was going with that was, I don't know, to be honest now. I kind of lost track.
I mean, personal stories are
It's just like revealing.
so important. Yeah.
Yeah, and like what I was saying, like your childhood like relates to who you are as you grow up as an adult.
Yep. Your experiences when you're a kid definitely they translate over to how you act as you don't realize it until you become like self-aware. Like I wouldn't say I was self-aware until like the last like 2 years. Like even my mid-20s or early 20s I was kind of like I thought I was aware, but every year I get more and more aware
For sure.
Who I am. It's crazy.
I think it was like the one thing I learned just growing up is like just never stop learning.
Yeah.
Like the world is always changing. You'll
Always
never be
a
up to
student.
date. As long as you know you'll never be up to date, then you'll always be driving forward.
Never be content.
Yeah.
Never be complacent. I don't think I ever could be. Like I'm so restless. I cannot get bored. Being bored is a very dangerous feeling. I think for me at least, that's when I get destructive. Like because I'm looking for shit to do.
Yeah.
I will break shit that don't need to be broke or fixed. You know what I mean?
Like what? Like what do you mean? Like explain.
Destructive patterns?
To your like yourself or like physical objects? Like we just grab all your plates and just throw it at the wall.
I wouldn't say I'm too physically violent, but sometimes yeah, like I'll just like I feel like I know this is wrong in my head, but I'm just gonna like mix it up. I'm gonna throw this out there. Make a choice that I wouldn't usually make, and sometimes it's out of boredom. Like I just need to mix things up. It's stimulation, and sometimes it's a good thing, and sometimes it's bad. Like
I relate to that.
Yeah, but boredom is a nasty thing.
Well, I guess for me, I think I said the opposite because like for me, the whole time I was isolated, I realized that I like to talk to people. I like to do more sports.
But it made you try new things.
Right.
It made you the destruction for you was the destruction of you being isolated.
Right.
So you gotta fuck shit up. You gotta go out there.
Yeah. I think that was it too because it's like I think growing up thinking about it, like I never had fear. Like I have this close cousin of mine that I grew up with, like since we were babies, and then we didn't talk from like age 5 to 18, and then now when she met me again, it's like, yeah, you kind of just like, what's the worst that can happen? I could die. Even that, I'm like, all right, I'm ready.
Make it out of this life alive.
Right. I guess I'm ready. I think for me, like if I know that I'm doing the best that I can at whatever I'm doing,
yeah,
I'm good.
That's another reason I'm not competitive. Like,
morals?
If I'm doing my best,
yeah,
I'm not mad, even if I'm second.
But then I don't get the part where you're saying that you don't want to be first because of you get first out of someone's expense.
Yeah.
Because if you're doing your best, you're not hurting number 2 or number whatever.
No, I mean, I guess technically there is gonna always be a number 2. Like you're never gonna really be number 1. There's usually someone out there who's
right. Someone's on the come up.
But I just like it's more of like, am I acknowledging that? No. I'm not. I hope I don't acknowledge too hard that I'm in first place.
Yeah.
And I hope I don't acknowledge too hard that someone else is behind me.
Right.
I would just rather like. He can't get caught up in being first place either, or get too involved in being second place because I've been and still struggle with this, like a hyper successful person.
Okay.
And the problem with being hyper successful is that you are also hyper failure critical. So you get so obsessed with your success, that's all you care about. But then you'll get obsessed with your failures as well. It's a double-edged sword.
So you kind of think you just overthink, kind of, or you're just like hyper aware that like, oh shit, if I just slip up, I could just like ruin everything. Type of thing.
The higher you climb up the mountain, the farther the drop.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
a pessimist and an optimist.
That's a hard one. That's a hard. I can relate to that because I feel the same way. Because like I feel like anything that I've ever done, I looked good doing it, but to me, I still felt like I was average.
Yeah,
I don't know because like I always thought negative of myself, but
that's
that always
made you climb.
Right. It kept me driving forward.
Yeah.
Because like I guess like not to get to me, it was like joining the Marine. Like the reason why I joined the Marine Corps was to set me aside, to give me a bigger step up in the personal training world. Because at the time, everyone was personal training. It's like, who's a Marine and a personal trainer? Kind of like what you're doing, right? Because you're doing your entertainment. You're like, who's rollerblading, or roller skating, and entertaining?
Right.
Who's on stilts?
Lighting something on fire. You know?
Yeah.
Like, who's doing something different? Yeah.
There's always just bringing something new to the table. I think, do you want to talk about what kind of drove you into bringing this? I think you wanted to talk about like your parents. Did you want to bring that up or no?
Yeah. I think, well, I think even larger than my parents was the fact that I have ADHD, and it's a very real thing, and was largely unrecognized throughout my childhood.
Okay.
I never fit into a classroom. I could never pass a test, and it still shows. Like every test that has ever meant something to me, I have always failed it 3 times. Like it's the same thing. I failed my driver's license. I failed my tattoo artist license 3 times, and I suck at taking tests. So I suck at fitting into this world. But I grew up always struggling to do well in school, and people knew I was perfectly smart.
Yeah.
They just thought I wasn't trying because I wouldn't complete assignments. Like
because you just couldn't focus.
Yeah, I would sit in writing lab for 45 minutes, and everybody would get done like at least a paragraph, and I would have nothing done. Like, what were you doing for 45 minutes? I don't know, like thinking about something else that I was interested in. Like I just, if I wasn't genuinely captured by it, I'm an all or nothing. So
yeah, I can see that.
If I don't want to write this, I am 100% not going to do it.
Yeah.
And no one really understood that instead of me trying to focus my energy on all these things that I'm bad at, like I should just really delegate my energy to things I'm good at.
Right.
So in high school, and it wasn't so bad, like you could create personal relationships with your teachers, and they would give you like extra credit, or they knew how smart you were. They would give you, some way to kind of go around it.
Right.
But once I got into high school or college, it caught up with me.
Yeah.
I became a statistic. I was 1 out of 900 people in my biology classes.
Where'd you go?
UMBC.
Okay.
And I mean, literally, like our lecture hall was almost 200 kids in the lecture hall.
Right.
Stadium seating. I'm just a number, and that's only the AM lecture. There's a PM lecture and an afternoon lecture, So I'm literally 1 in 1,000.
Right.
The teacher does not know my name. She doesn't care about who I am. I instantly fell behind. I was like a terrible student, and I mean, ultimately ended up dropping out because I couldn't afford to go anymore. My life, it didn't make me happy either. I remember skipping an exam so that I could play Pokemon.
Nice.
This is a true ass story.
Is this the Game Boy Pokemon or Pokemon Go?
Pokemon Game Boy. Like,
okay.
This was back in 2012. I was playing Pokemon Yellow version, and I just remember thinking, it doesn't matter how I do on this exam. If I get an A, I'm still going, like, then I'll pass. Okay, but that's not going to happen. And I just kind of gave up. I was not interested in it, and it made me happier to play Pokemon.
Can we nerd out real quick? What system were you using? Game Boy Advance? Game Boy Color?
Just a Game Boy, not even the color, 8-bit.
The gray one?
Yellow version. Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit.
I was addicted to that. And I'm really glad. Like, Pokemon, I'm so obsessed with it is because it got me through so many, like, depressive years.
Yeah.
It was just, like, my childhood escape.
Yeah.
And I realized that these things made me happier.
Right.
Once I dropped out of college, I also started exercising. I would skip class so that I could go run.
Yeah.
And if you have ADHD, you need a physical outlet. Like, you just need.
Did you get runner's high and kind of like zone out?
Yeah. And so that semester, I was in school doing horribly, but I was figuring out myself. Like, I was running, I was playing video games, and like lo and behold, like that's just what I like to do. So
right. So now you start figuring out what you actually like, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I started, instead of thinking that there was something wrong with me, I was realizing, no, it's the environments that I'm expected to conform to.
Right.
It's like that Einstein quote: if you tell a fish to climb a tree, it's gonna go thinking its whole life thinking it's stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never heard that, but sure.
Like that.
Okay.
But basically, yeah, I'm a fish trying to climb a tree, whatever.
Okay.
And that's just not what I'm meant for.
Right.
So yeah, I dropped out of college and I started dancing.
Okay.
That was my physical outlet in so many ways. And
what'd you like dancing to, like music wise?
I had always had a thing for EDM. I didn't realize it. There was not a lot of like techno on the radio and stuff.
Yeah. Well, this was like what? Well, Tiesto has been around since the 90s.
Yeah, but you didn't hear him on the radio, really.
Oh, I had a brother. He was like real into like music, and that's when I got but I'm not trying to hit me up.
My parents were so not into music. It's so weird. Like
how not? Like music is everywhere.
I have no idea. They're just my dad was a musical person. But, like, in the car, we didn't play the radio.
It was silent?
Yes.
Or did you guys talk?
We talked, I guess. I know, right? It's so strange. Like, now kids, like, play video games in the car. Like, they listen to their iPods. Like, that was not my childhood. We would play, you know, like, the alphabet game. You gotta, like, figure, you know, A, B.
I definitely did.
We played games. We did not listen to any music. I did not grow up with MTV. Like, it is sad.
Oh, shit.
So yeah, had to find out.
So you had like creative emotions like built way down, like pushed way down.
Yeah.
Like I gotta let it out now. That's so cool.
Exploded because I had always wanted these things and then never gotten them, and then suddenly I was in this world where I had them. And my first year go-go dancing was a trip. Like I was basically.
Who got you into that? Like, how did you just like find that?
I just saw these girls, and they were on Facebook, and they were go-go dancing, and I was
like, hey, how do I do that?
I bothered the shit out of her until she gave me an audition.
That's fucking awesome.
And then, I mean, I feel like I aced it once I was there just because I was, like, so excited.
Yeah.
And I have, like, decent rhythm, and I had no prior professional dance training.
White girl that could dance?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take that.
You gotta be the white girl. You can't just be a white girl. You gotta be the white girl.
Yeah, and you're not like that Eastern European skinny stick girl that's doing her own thing on the side.
Well, when I started, I was actually skinny, but now I got my thickness back.
Okay.
That's because I was running, you know, like that cardio. Skinny fat.
Snow bunny type.
Cardio queen. I learned a lot when it came to exercise too. I don't know if you remember me in high school, but
you were on the bigger side.
I was bigger.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So then you just start running, then you kind of got that endorphins kick in because you start exercising. It was like mentally stimulating. Mm-hmm. And then would you learn more after that? Like how did you get more into the fitness field?
Yeah, actually for a while I was probably more going down your path of like personal training.
Yeah.
I started a fitness page called Kira Tai Fit for a little while.
Yeah, you were training over by Rock Creek Trail?
Yeah.
You're on that little playground thing?
I tried to train people into running and I ran some marathons, some halves and stuff like that. I did a lot of like diet experimenting. I've gone no carb, I've gone keto, I've gone so many different kinds of paleo, whatever. I've done it all.
Yeah.
To finally figure out what makes me happy.
Yeah, you found something that makes you happy and what works for you.
Yeah.
But you could basically say all of them work. Could you say that? But one works better than than the rest?
Yeah,
For
you just
you.
have to understand metabolic systems and how they function and what your goals are.
Right.
Like, you can eat to be skinny, you can eat to be muscular, you can eat to be... there's just so many different goals, and like people think there's like, oh, if I diet for X amount of weeks and cut out pasta, no, like it's so much more complicated.
Right. I think for me, like I definitely want to say this like to like clients in general. People who come to you like, hey, how do I look like you?
Yeah.
Like what's your diet? Like I could tell you it, but it may not work. Like it's not like a curriculum. Like you have to do these steps, and you're guaranteed you'll look amazing.
And it's also you have to do it for years. I've noticed.
Yeah.
Like you can lose a lot of weight in a short amount of time. It's not sustainable.
Yeah.
You're not going to continue to lose that weight. I kind of figured that out the hard way, where I had initially cut out carbs to lose weight really fast.
Yeah.
It worked, but then I was still running at this 7-8 mile distance every single day, and I was getting skinnier and skinnier and skinnier, and my carb resources were so depleted from me not eating carbs that what I should have done is started eating carbs again, but I did not. And so what ended up happening is I started gaining weight anyways, and I didn't understand why, because I wasn't eating carbs anymore. I got into a really bad cycle of like eating disorders because I didn't understand like that this just wasn't fruitful for my body anymore. So yeah, it's a lot of trial and error in some ways.
Yeah, I definitely think in the fitness field that it's, to me, I almost related to being like an entrepreneur. You kind of just have to try and see what works for you.
Try and fail.
Yeah. But then I think now I'm learning too, is like you have to learn from other people's mistakes too. Like I'm talking to more older trainers. I'm talking to older like entrepreneurs. And they give me a lot of insight. I'm like, damn, I never thought about it like that. And then it saves me like years. Honestly. I was like, thank you. Thank you, man. Like, especially for me in the military, thinking about like just doing a couple more years, I can retire with the pension with them. But then I'm like, you got to weigh your pros and cons.
Someone else has probably already done it.
Yeah.
Usually. They can share that experience with you, either firsthand or from a book. Like there's always a resource.
But I think that's really funny coming from you.
Why? Because
you were just trying to open that wine bottle. You broke the cork. I was like, hey, can I help you? Like I didn't want to be like, just give me that shit. Yeah. But then it's like, no, I have to do it. I'm an independent woman. I'm a blah blah blah.
I'm just gonna break it.
Blah, blah, blah. I'll figure it out. And I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
I'm
like that with hands-on projects. Like, if it's in my hands, like, if it's in a knot, like, I just have to figure it out.
Just give me some more time.
Yeah.
I'll undo this knot thing.
Just don't give up. Even if it costs me my wine cork.
What do you think is, like, your biggest lesson learned out of your whole... Like, when did you say you started all this? Like, like, you started your cleaning business. What age is that?
When I was like 22, 23.
22? You're 26 now?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like 4 years? 22?
Wait, actually, I started cleaning for one lady really exclusively when I was like 21-ish.
Okay. And
then I didn't make it a full-time business till I was like 23.
Oh.
And then when I was 24, that's when I realized towards the end of 24, that's when I got my cosmetic tattoo license.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've done this for like 3 years, almost? Almost
I'm coming
4?
up on 3 years for cosmetic tattooing.
Okay.
Yeah. And
then you think like this is your passion? Like you're going to do this for the rest of your life type of thing?
Yes and no. I do think I will be in the career of cosmetic enhancement.
Okay.
The reason I initially went to college is because I was telling everybody I was going to be a plastic surgeon, and no one believed me. And I've always had a passion for cosmetic enhancement or cosmetic manipulation.
Okay.
And for some interesting reasons. There was like this argument when I was growing up. Like now it's more acceptable to wear makeup and to do cosmetic enhancements and stuff.
I'm just ignorant. I thought it was always okay, but sure.
No, like there was
Really?
like this, period of time where people looked really fake. There's lots of body dysmorphia disorders.
I think still today a lot of people look fake.
Yeah, it's true. But now there's more of a place where it's like, okay, you're not wearing makeup because you're insecure. You're wearing makeup to bring out your highest potential and confidence. Like this isn't like the fake me, that I have on my face. It's the real me, even though it requires a little bit of application.
I saw a YouTube video where like a girl would like outline
contour her
like yeah. I just thought that was like so.
A little extra.
That's a lie.
No.
I'm kind of drunk. I'm like I can't tell the difference. It's dark.
I contoured my abs for dance concerts before. It's fascinating. Like I wouldn't do it on a date. Like when I go on dates, I'm not trying to look fake. But when I'm at a photo shoot, there's makeup on my abs.
Well, because you're getting paid for that.
Yeah.
I understand that. But if it's for manipulation, well, I guess you're kind of manipulating people when you're doing photo shoots too.
There's manipulation, and then there's creating an aesthetic for a goal. Like it's an art in a way. Like you are manipulating your surroundings to create something different.
But someone could really say like, yeah, if I really poke up my boobs and like do that, then just give me that little tan.
Right,
like I'm gonna get that guy.
Misleading.
Like, get the dick. Like, all right. Well,
but someone's only gonna fall for that for so long. I have my modeling face, and then I'm also trying to be realistic about what I actually fucking look like. And then there's all like people have so many. You know how your body has so many different looks. If you eat a piece of pizza or like cake and pizza and soda, you're gonna see it like instantly.
Right.
And then if you work out for the next 3 days, okay, you're gonna be fine again.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the same with makeup. Like I look like shit when I don't sleep, when I'm sick. If I've gone out the night before and worn makeup, it does a lot of bad things to my skin. It makes my dark circles come out. I look terrible. So I have the potential to look terrible. I also have the potential to
everyone
look...
does.
Everybody does. I also have the potential to look very normal. Like, okay, not a whole lot of makeup on. I just look like your average Joe. I'm not particularly pretty or ugly. And then I also have the potential to look freaking glorious. I've got on my, my push-up bra, my fake eyelashes, and like all my glitz and glam going on. And so everybody just needs to realize like there's no like being ugly or being pretty. Like you can go from any one of these phases to I just ate cake and didn't get any sleep to I've been exercising and eating clean for a week straight and I got on all my shit. So
you're funny in that way because like you're saying that you're beautiful in your own skin, basically, right?
All acceptable,
right? But then at the same time, it's like, I'm going to be a plastic surgeon. So
yeah,
big tits or fake ass, lipo.
I'm not about the big tits.
Botox.
My goals aesthetically are like when I.
So you're saying if someone came to you and you're a plastic surgeon, like, hey, I need enlargement. I have a C. I want to make it a double D.
Okay.
You're gonna say no.
I'm not gonna say no. No, I'm not gonna say no. But like I think I'm definitely gonna have a different
consultation.
Just a different mission in plastic surgery. Like, have you ever noticed that a lot of the cosmetic plastic surgeons or whatever are males?
I've never been to
a lot of them are, and I've been to plastic surgeons, and they're always trying to convince me to get my boobs bigger, and I'm like literally like, no, that's what I don't want. I want smaller ones. It's way easier.
Are you artificial at any way?
Not yet. I have tattooed eyeliner.
Eyeliner is this thing?
Yeah. I would totally get stuff if I could afford it. But
like what?
I would get like contoured cheekbones. I have like a really tight like jawline that I would get loosened up with a little bit of Botox and then evened out. I've got like my bad side. And that's just like me being really particular. I'm not like self-conscious about this stuff to the point where I'm just like, no, I can't go out. My bad side is so bad. It's more like, okay, if I had like money and like time, and I would just totally like look like a Kardashian if I could.
You would want to look like that? I think
Yeah, is that weird?
their ass is too fat. Like it's like and the like unedited photos. I'm like,
okay, the butt stuff and like the boob stuff. I've had big boobs and I've had a really fat ass because I've been like 160 pounds before. On a 5'2" figure, like it is uncomfortable. So I don't know how they do that. But and I can tell you, like the lifestyle. I remember running with big boobs. It was so uncomfortable.
Back
but
pain.
that's right.
Yeah.
Back pain and your bras running again. That's not for me. But I do appreciate cosmetic enhancement because I feel like some people how they look doesn't reflect who they are, and it's kind of nice when who you are is reflected in your face. Like, you know how you can't help if you have acne?
Right.
Like, that kind of just, like, sucks for people. So they should have the right to wear makeup, not because they're trying to hide something, but because their acne doesn't display who they are.
Yeah.
For some people, their boobs don't display who they are. And so yeah, some of it's definitely superficial. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to erase that.
Okay.
But for a lot of people, I think my goal would be to give them an aesthetic that makes them more themselves as opposed to makes them a different person. I don't want to change people. So I want to enhance people.
How would the contour on your jawline change
enhance
you to be, or enhance you to make you feel like you?
Well,
yeah.
I always notice my bad side. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
so is it just your one side? Is what you're saying, or is it both? I don't know, because jawline is.
I notice my bad side more. I mean, there's probably a couple quirks to my good side too, but I notice my bad side a lot. And again, I'm not like.
Like what are you noticing?
Okay, like, can I show you? You're gonna think I'm so crazy.
Sure.
All right,
I guess.
so if I take a picture of myself from two different sides.
Yeah.
All right, we got this side. We got this side.
Okay.
All right, now I'm going to show you.
You should watch this on YouTube if you're not watching this on YouTube.
Facial symmetry.
Okay.
All right, this is my good side. Right? This is my bad side. We're going to compare them.
Well, one has better lighting than the other.
No, there's muscular differences. Look, this side of my smile goes up. This side goes down. It's just a muscular imbalance.
But that's your lips.
Right. It's a muscular imbalance within my...
Oh, I thought you were talking about, like, actual this. Like, your jawline.
Yeah,
That's what you said.
So my jawline's different on this side, and this side is really pronounced. I have a really strong jawbone, and this side, it is less pronounced. It blends into my neck. It's not the shadowing. I like, know that's how my face is. I'm not mad about it, but if I could just, you know, like... If
you're just aware.
Yeah, if it was easy for me to correct, like, why not?
Okay.
So what else? Yeah, my temporal fold, like look, I have like a way, like my vein pops out. Like, I just noticed these little things.
Where did you learn this?
I've always had a really weird passion for it. When I was 13, like, this could have easily gone down the direction of body dysmorphia, and I could take it personally, and I could hate myself, but I don't.
Okay.
Because I don't take it there. Like, you could take it down the bad road of thinking of yourself negatively because you have, you know, less perfect traits, but you don't have to do that.
Do you ever think yourself is crazy?
Yes.
And you, like, accept that?
I'm not mad. I feel like you got to be really out there to have really strong ideas, and I think Steve Jobs is probably a little nuts. We're all a little nuts. I don't want to be average. I'm fine with my hyperactive thoughts. That's
fucking awesome. I like that. No, I'm serious. That's super
I don't
cool.
enforce them on anybody else. I don't expect other people to, like, always understand.
Yeah.
But, like, I've come to a place where, like, okay, I'm okay with what I don't have, but I'm also okay with what I want, even if it's superficial, even if it doesn't matter to anybody else. Like, that's what I like. Like, girls, like, I don't care about getting my nails done, clearly. Like, they look awful. But some girls need to do that for themselves every month because it is a part of caring for themselves.
Okay. And yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Like, I'm thinking about, like, all the girls that I know. Like, yeah, they do their nails.
They do stuff like
pretty
that.
regularly.
And maybe it's a feminine thing. I don't know.
You're pretty masculine.
But, like, we just like that stuff.
You're like a bro, too.
I'm a little bit of a bro, yeah.
That's awesome.
See,
like,
I mean,
I would have never thought.
We're multifaceted, and, like, even I could show you pictures of guys who get shit done too. There are guys who get their jaws contoured. Did you know that there's, like, a statistic for, like, men who don't have
Tom Brady jaw.
yeah, like who have necklines that like
David Beckham. I'm not sure my insecurities, but I know David Beckham, Tom Brady.
Good-looking men, yeah. With real strong jawlines. But there's studies shown for men who have like non-prominent jawlines and prominent ones.
Yeah.
They might not get hired for certain jobs because they're not seen as masculine. And that's one thing. I don't agree with that. But I'm just saying, women, think about it. We're expected to wear makeup every day as a professional. You cannot go into a work setting without wearing makeup as a woman. We just don't live in that kind of world. Someone's going to ask you, are you okay? Are you sick? What's wrong? Every time. And so we have to.
Yeah.
And we like to. We don't have to, but we like to. But we're always being expected to maintain this. So a part of my job as a cosmetic enhancement specialist is to make your life a lot easier so that you can skip that routine in the morning. So you can literally say, I woke up like this. It's already done for you. And I think like...
Is that how it works? Yeah?
Yeah,
once it's done, it's done?
tattoo your eyebrows on. You don't have to do that in the morning. That's 15 minutes off of your morning. 15 minutes every single day adds up to 100 hours over the year. Isn't that crazy?
I'm not going to check you on that, but I believe you.
I'm like pretty sure. Maybe it's 20 minutes. But either way, I've done the math before. It adds up to well over 100 hours. And I mean, I'm taking away that pesky little thing that you're going to do anyways. And just making your life a little easier, a little more you.
Yeah, I never done them jobs. Oh.
You're blessed. You're good.
Okay. All right. I'll take that. Shit.
But yeah, we've gone all around the map over here.
We did. I didn't even ask any of my questions that I like to ask.
Okay.
Yeah.
Want to ask the normal questions?
Yeah. I'm kind of just shocked with your story. I appreciate you a lot.
Oh, shucks, thanks.
Yeah. The one thing I normally like to ask people, and like it's kind of like a thought-provoking thing, is like, who do you think? Do you have a big circle or a group of friends?
No.
No. Do you think you have at least 5?
Yes.
5 people. Yeah. Because are you the belief that you're the average of those 5? Because I think you would agree with this. Like, you are who you're surrounded by.
Your some friends.
Mm-hmm. Or would you mind naming them? Because I'll tell you, like, on my analysis of talking to this many people.
Man, so I really don't have a lot of best friends. I gotta say, like, Anna Pineapple is my best friend.
Mm-hmm. How did you guys meet?
We met when we both auditioned as go-go dancers back in 2011.
So you guys auditioned at the same time? Pretty
much. She was like a week before me, if anything.
Oh, okay.
And then we weren't particularly close, actually. We were way more acquaintances. Mm-hmm. And then the company that we initially were dancing for didn't want go-go dancers anymore, so they just kind of cut off the team. And then we were like, all right, well, we still want to do this. There's still opportunity for us. If anything, we want to do more than just dancing. Yeah. And we came together and decided to start our own thing. It was kind of funny. Nobody took us seriously, and now here we are, blown up.
Awesome.
But yeah, I would say I'm definitely a reflection of her, and she's a reflection of me.
Okay. Well, I think I had a thought in my head. I was going to ask, like, I think the normal question is, like, is her last name really Pineapple?
No.
Okay. That's what I thought.
I wish.
I was like, she's been saying this for so long, and I just rolled with it. Like, maybe I'm just weird, and I just accepted it. But then I think the normal question would be like, is that right? But, I mean, is there anyone else? You don't think you're close to anyone? Like, you have one close friend, and then that's your biggest influence? Like, you never really looked up anyone else? I think you mentioned Steve Jobs. Like, you could put him there.
Some other close friends.
Or, like, who influences you? It's just you and your thoughts.
It's a lot of me. There's people who I want to give credit to, but I honestly don't spend too much time with other people. I'm usually, my day is I'm spending time with my clients, and then at the end of the day, I'm going to rehearsal with Anna. That is a large chunk of my time is just focused on work. And honestly, my friends who I'm supposed to be hanging out with and going out with, they probably get angry at me more frequently than I'd like to admit because I miss out on a lot of special events. I miss out on birthday parties. I miss out on going out opportunities. I miss out on not weddings. I make sure to go to the really important stuff. But yeah, there's a lot of opportunities that I turn down.
Okay.
Because
is that because you're more focused on work for work, or is it like you have a higher purpose type of thing?
Yeah, I'm just more focused. I'm not interested in going out. It's harder for me to say yes to those kind of events
because it doesn't like I'm not gonna say truly impact you, because I mean it would impact you like to go there and be there with your friends, but
it's selfish. It doesn't further my career.
But it doesn't.
No, I mean for me to go out.
Oh yeah, for you to go out, right? But then so you're really trying to build this up, right?
Yeah, and I think a lot of that people don't realize is when there was a few years that I keep talking about that I was very, very broken after my parents' divorce. After I dropped out of college, I was on food stamps. I was sleeping on the ground. I got my bed off the streets. Like there was no one there to support me or tell me what to do or tell me how to thrive in the world.
So where'd you live at that time?
I lived in a house, and I had some help with the rent, but that was it. Like otherwise, I was estranged from my family. They
wouldn't take you in? No.
No, we were all really fucked up.
Oh shit.
My parents did not like each other. They did not. I was conflicting with them too. We were all taking each other to court. Like divorce is a nasty, nasty thing, and my family situation, we dragged that out, I'd say, for like a good 5 years. Like it was not a very quick thing. It was very painful, and it was years, and there's still like these effects of it.
Right.
Years and years after that. We're still kind of bringing up what we're angry about and just starting to sort through some of these feelings.
You guys never like really talked it out, or like it was never.
We tried to hash it out, but now we're finally in a place where we can, talk with understanding and a lot of, hindsight's 20/20.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, there were those years that I was really broken, and no one could help me. Not even my friends. Like my friends could offer me support, but I'm sorry, I didn't want the support.
Yeah. You wanted to feel the pain.
To get out of my situation. Like I wanted to, like, unless you could pay my rent, help me get a job, or help me be self-sustaining, I was not interested, because I was like, who can help me? I felt so helpless, and not to like have my own pity party, but I realized that you couldn't rely on anybody. Right. And I kind of still have that lone wolf mentality. Like I'll always be working for myself. I'll always be making it happen for me. Right. And so when I see stuff like, my going out and stuff, I'm not interested in it, because I spent years and years of my life isolating myself into, I do everything for me. I am the only one who can depend on me, and it's flawed. It's flawed. You should ask for help. You should ask for support.
But you can't take your own advice.
Hell no. I'm getting better at it.
This is why I find you funny. I find you so funny. I will forever call you adorable for that until that changes.
I'm getting better. Like
you're just like that bratty little kid in the corner, just like, I'm not listening to nobody. I'm gonna live my own life.
Yeah, I'm a strong, independent.
I'm an adult. I can barely walk. I can go potty kind of by myself.
Right? And so I was stubborn. I was persistent.
You still are.
There's good things about it. There's bad things about it. I certainly do not know how to ask for help. And when people offer it, I still don't fucking accept it. It's good and it's bad. Like, I think nowadays I finally found people who I can depend on. Like, I was taught that I couldn't depend on people. You expect your parents to be the people you can depend on. Right. And then you kind of get older and realize, oh shit, your parents are flawed people too. Yeah. They were supposed to know everything. Turns out they don't know everything. Right. And that was kind of a hard lesson, but
I think I've seen this lately too. Like, not to bring up my own past too, but then it's like I had an ex-girlfriend who had a similar story. Her parents were divorced. Her stepdad wasn't the greatest guy. Her mom was just like submissive, but she also had siblings. She was the oldest of 4. And because of what she experienced, she kind of took on that motherly role for her little brother. Because she had one little brother and 2 younger sisters. And just from you, just seeing you earlier with your little brother, I feel like you did the same. Because you kind of want to, like, I don't know, do you want kids by any chance?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just really confused about how it's going to
Okay. I know where you're going with that.
happen.
Okay. But then, so do you think you treat your brother like he's your...
Like we're
you kinda,
somewhere special, like where I'm
yeah.
kind of his mom, but kind of his sister.
Yeah, you
Like-
kind of take both roles.
Yeah.
That's the same thing that with my ex too, because she was the older sister, but she understood that she had to be a provider as well.
Yeah, like I still have to, like I'm cool enough where I can give him, actual advice, and he doesn't feel like I'm a parent talking down on him.
Right, like.
And if anything, he got me through it because I was like, okay, the only reason I have to survive is to teach him that there's a better life out there, is to make sure his life is better than mine. I think all parents try to do that for their kids. They try to provide a better future than what they had, and even as an older sibling, I want to make sure that I can provide a better world for him, that he doesn't have to go through the same things. Mm-hmm. If anything, it's great because, like, not to call out my parents here, but we can both talk shit about my parents. We relate to that, it's so nice to share that with, oh, mom does this, dad does this, and now I can finally have that discussion with somebody. He's old enough now, and he can appreciate that we love our parents, but
you have an outlet now too, because you can never talk to that with anybody.
We have each other.
You didn't have that trust.
No one understands how crazy like your parents are, except for your siblings and your other family, and we have that mutual bond. It's great.
I think that's so funny too, and not in the funny like that it happened, but because it's like. I think we talked about this earlier in the podcast. It was like someone's always been through it, but we always think that no one knows my pain or type of struggle.
Yeah, we all like to dive into our own self-loathing pity party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. Again, I think that was the only one, because I think you're the only one that ever admitted it, or maybe I've just only gotten to this far, because I think this is the kind of stuff that too we need to talk about. Mm-hmm. Where I think for the longest part, I've always wanted to go to some type of therapy, just to talk about me
I recommend
as a guy.
it.
Yeah,
I have a therapist, and I've had a relationship with her for probably 6 or 7 years.
Really?
I would highly recommend investing into your mental health, whether you are unhealthy or healthy.
How did you find one, or what did you do to get?
Do you know Carolina Pelaez?
Yes.
Okay, so she was a fantastic friend and mentor to me. She just always kind of kept her composure.
Yeah.
And she's very, very religious, very spiritual, and she never judged me. I went to church with her for a whole year. I tried to be Christian, and she never hated me, even though I decided not my thing. And I'll always admire her for that. And she continued to care about me,
right?
Even when I wasn't involved in her life. And one day she recommended me a therapist who she was studying under. I think she was interning for her. And
is she a therapist now, Carolina?
No. Her whoever she was working for. Her name is Miss Baldwin. She's my therapist, and it was during the time of my parents' divorce, and she helped me work through a lot of problems. When your parents are kind of going through that stuff, you are questioning who you are in relation to your parents.
Right.
Am I as toxic as my parents?
Yeah.
Do I have, am
that
I going to
DNA.
end up like them?
Yeah.
And she helped me sort through those emotions. And then when I finally got done sorting through all the bullshit that, my parents and my other life were, suddenly I was in this weird place where I had to deal with who I was. And trust me, it's not any easier dealing with yourself. It's a whole new set of problems.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I feel you.
It's a blessing to be there. When you finally are done with, what if money wasn't a problem?
Yeah.
Your problems wouldn't go away. You'd have to deal with yourself.
Right.
And so that's kind of a goal that everybody should aspire to get to, is how can I deal with who I am? I
don't think anyone ever thinks about the big picture, to be honest.
Yeah.
In that way, so yeah, you think you want to win the lottery, but then I think it's a statistic. If you win the lottery and you're not financially stable.
If you're not a millionaire,
you're gonna lose
get
it.
$1 million, you're gonna lose it.
Yeah.
You have to be in the right mentality to sustain it.
Right.
So,
there's this. I think there is a such thing as like a millionaire mindset. Like you have to know how to handle that.
There's this guy. One of my mentors, Jim Rohn. He's dead, but he does business lectures. He used to be like one of the top salesmen in like Herbalife, but then he became an entrepreneurial speaker.
Okay, yeah, okay. I know what you're talking about.
I have listened to his lectures, I mean, probably every day for years almost. And
Really?
There's so many life lessons from him, but one of his stories is he became a millionaire at 30-something, and then he lost it all, and then he became a millionaire again because the first time that he had got his $1 million, he wasn't really a millionaire yet. He lost it and he threw it all away. Not he didn't intentionally.
He like gambled or something.
Yeah, he decided to sponsor some people, or he was like their
angel
responsibility,
type of,
and he ended up paying for their debts with his fortune.
Damn.
And you gotta lose your first $1 million.
How did he get it in the first place?
I believe direct sales. Yeah.
Okay. And then he said he lost it. How did he get it back?
That's a good question. What other business ventures? I think he just ended up investing into himself and like other. I don't think he went back into network marketing.
Oh, okay.
I'm not quite sure, but he did. He had his fall, and then he had to climb right back up.
Gotcha.
And then, if anything, he rose back up even higher. He wasn't just a millionaire anymore. He had a couple million.
Okay.
So yeah, I feel like you should expect to lose.
I learned this. It's a cycle. It's our lives are like cyclical in the way that you'll always have to aspire to do something. There's some things that you're going to succeed, but then no matter what, if you've got those two phases, there's going to be failure somewhere.
Yeah.
Because I think it's like kind of what we were talking about earlier. Like you'll never sustain being number one.
No.
Like it's too hard unless you like stomp on everyone else below you.
Yeah.
And then that's more like a tyranny type of thing.
Right.
And then or dictatorship. And then that's not cool.
Okay. Jim Rohn, one of my favorite analogies, it's from the Bible. And I'm not a biblical person, but he's got a really great way of preaching or explaining the Bible without preaching it, put it that way.
Okay.
And he talks about the sowing and reaping of the seeds, that analogy.
Not really. I'm not the most religious either.
You sow what you reap, so there's seeds in the field, and some seeds don't grow, some seeds get eaten by the birds, some seeds they will dry up because the sun's too hot, some seeds only grow halfway, some seeds grow all the way.
Okay.
And you just got to keep planting your damn seeds. So
Okay.
this idea of the harvest and these seeds, the ideas that you're planting, well, there's seasons to it.
Type of thing.
And there's these are the how we're talking about the things you can't control and the things you can.
Yeah.
You can't control the seasons. They're always going to come.
Right.
Winter is a period of drought, of cold. You have your personal winters, you have your business winters, you have things that just won't work out for you. When everything decides to fail and collapse, when your heart's broken and all this kind of stuff, and that'll always be there. But then comes spring right after winter every time. Spring is a season of opportunity. It's really where you start planting your seeds, and some of them survive, some of them don't.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, spring is, you should be seizing every opportunity you can, even if people are going to say no to you. Summer is a time where you are working, you are slaving away. Making sure that your seeds are protected, no one else is getting to them, making sure that they grow. You've got all summer. And then the fall is where you reap the benefits of your harvest. Did you do well? Did you not? Your
reflection time.
Mm-hmm. Your harvest will always reflect.
And then what do you think about the winter? Then
winter comes right back. Winter comes right back. Season of drought. After you
struggle.
Struggle.
Okay.
And it's just kind of always there. And so
that's interesting. That's
cool.
Cool.
But what comes after winter every time?
Spring.
Yeah. So you can always expect after seasons of immense disappointment come seasons of opportunity. Failure, or what is opportunity and drought is the cycle. I forget what exact wording he uses.
I know what you're talking about. It's like aspiring, not aspiring, like to succeed or goal I don't know, something
It's
like.
the same way. So,
Do you believe that in life too, like in your other ventures, like in terms of like where everything that's down has to come up?
Yeah, it works out every time too. There was a point where me and Anna, we were saying no to a lot of people because they just weren't offering us a lot of money, and we were disappointed. Like, are we not valuable? Are we doing this wrong? Like, what's happening? So we weren't getting any business, and people were lowballing us, and we kept saying no, and it was really hard because you start to question yourself.
Right.
And then, sure enough, we said no so many times that the opportunities that we actually wanted finally came our way. People did want to pay us what we were worth. People did want to give us exciting opportunities. You just have to have enough patience to persevere through those things, and you got to stick to your guts. You got to say no if you really
believe in your worth.
Yeah.
Type of thing. Okay.
And it'll make you question yourself.
Yeah.
And it'll make you question yourself to the point where you want to give up, and then you still have to keep going after that one point, and that's when you're going to overcome. So you have to hit rock bottom every fucking time.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, that's awesome. Like I think I had a podcast with John Raimundo. Remember John Raimundo?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's into martial arts now, and he's a general manager of Noodles & Company in Glen Burnie, and he talked to me about the Tao,
Stock market.
No, the Tao as in the circle, the yin and yang.
Yeah.
It's the way. It's like
Yeah.
the Eastern philosophy of the way.
Who's in stocks now? Could have been.
No, but then he basically says it symbolizes light and dark. So that's exactly what you were saying. It's just like whatever's dark, whatever has to happen next is light. And I think we brought up the analogy of art because he was also an art student. Like, what is black? Black is nothing, if you think about it in terms of color. Emptiness. Right. And then what is white? The color. How do you make the color white?
Light?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all the colors.
It's
a rainbow.
Right. Yeah, it's everything.
Yeah, you don't see it. You see it as white light, but if you have, like, if you break it down through like a reflection or some type of glass, it's the rainbow.
It's reflecting all the colors. That's so true.
And I was like, oh shit. Like, we literally thought about it on the spot, too. It's like, how do you make white? I brought it up because we think light and darkness, and I think white. No, white is everything.
It's everything. It's the accumulation of all colors. Yeah, I mean, there's one of my favorite books is The Alchemist.
I've heard that a lot.
It's such a.
I need to read it.
There's some like literature that I think is like timeless, and The Alchemist is definitely one of them. Like even stories in the Bible, I believe they had intentions to teach us life lessons that would stand true throughout time.
Yeah.
Some of it's definitely fucking distorted, but some of it's very, very true. And The Alchemist, it takes this guy, and it sounds corny, but he's following his heart, his journey, his personal journey. He has a dream of going to Egypt and finding this treasure, and he ends up doing all these things, and it's kind of just like a journey of his heart, and he experiences things like beginner's luck. I believe in beginner's luck.
Okay.
Basically, when you're meant to do something, you get a little bit of luck in the beginning.
Yeah.
The universe is being
because
like,
you just try it. Like, keep
going.
going.
And then after you hit all this beginner's luck, you hit a huge failure.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to decide if you're going to keep going or not.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
Because your luck runs out. And that's true for everything I've done with eyebrows. The day I started, I don't know what it was. No, I do. I got a YouTube client. She blasted me to YouTube, and I got all those clients.
Nice.
And then a year later, I hit a fucking wall, and I had to do it all myself.
Yeah.
But it showed me, okay, you are meant to do this, but you have to try. You have to figure out your own ways. The universe isn't just going to keep handing it to you.
Right.
Anyway, back to the book. He follows his journey. And I can't tell you if he finds his treasure or not, or where he finds it, how he finds it. It's all kind of unfolds. But if you read that story, it's such a reflection of like how people's lives actually work out
and self-discovery type of thing.
And it also talks about people who didn't follow their journey, who didn't follow their heart, and where they're at.
Regret.
They are constantly in this state of discomfort and like they know they're missing something, even though they have everything that they're supposed to have. Like they're just not satisfied.
Yeah.
Why would you want to go through life like that? Like having not taken risks and having not failed.
I think that's the worst, because I think throughout like my first initial year of being a personal trainer, I had a variety of clients, and then whenever I had like an old elderly client, like anyone who's 60 and above, they would tell me things like, "I wish I would have done this," and they kept telling me like, do what you want now, like when you're young. Like, whatever bad that's going to happen to you, you got time. Mm-hmm. Like, he made me sound like if I went to jail, like, you'll do the time. As long as you don't kill nobody, like, you got it.
Yeah.
I'm just like, what? What did you say to me? Like, as a 20-year-old?
People, like, they gave us this impression that, like, if we didn't do life a certain way, that we weren't going to make it. And now I feel like millennials are uncovering that bullshit.
Yeah,
like,
it's the truth.
You don't need to go to college, get a job in a box with good pension and retirement and benefits and shit in order to be successful. Yeah. There are people who are much happier making less money, or people who are doing what I'm doing and determining their own value through entrepreneurship, and they're happier just because they're spending their time more wisely.
Yeah.
Money is not the valuable thing. Money makes it easier to spend your time how you want, but time is the most precious thing. Time is something you don't get back, and time is time is everything. If you're not doing what you want with your time, what are you doing with your life? Yeah. Time is, money is expendable.
Can we get into that real quick? I want to get into like more of your thoughts on rules. Ooh. Yeah, I really like that, because just hanging out with you for the past hour or two, I learned a lot. You excite me. That's all I can say.
Rules are meant to be broken. You are meant to also probably define your own rules and boundaries, and don't ever be afraid to let those rules change. Yeah. But also, stick to your guns if you really believe in something. Yeah. There's some values in me I don't think I'll ever break, but most of them I'm willing to bend. I have never liked to blindly follow things, and
you like to test them for yourselves. Like, see, what's the utility of this rule?
Yeah.
Like, why do I need
to listen to that?
Yeah. Unless it's like, stop at the red light.
Yeah, so would you stop at it? Would you, if there was a red light, no one was around, would you run it? It's 4 a.m.
I'm
not trying to incriminate you. Well, I might be the person to say run it.
Okay.
Because I'm not gonna feel.
But you wouldn't blatantly run it, like you just red light, just go, like not even stop.
Look both ways. I would make sure that I was not causing consequence to anybody else.
Right, like if it's like 2:00 in the afternoon, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna but but why would I? See, like, why would I stop my entire life for an inanimate object that, like, don't get me wrong, it has a purpose, but like, why would I be a slave to that?
I understand that.
And it's just like, it's not applicable to me at this time. Like,
you have to pick and choose your morals, I guess.
I'm not just gonna stop because someone told me to. I mean, I've even gotten pulled over once for running a stop sign. It was on Beach Drive. You know where Beach Drive?
Yeah.
Right? Okay. No one was around. I ran the stop sign. A cop pulled me over. He came out the fucking bushes.
Oh, it was right there by that rec center?
Yeah. No one was around. It was pitch dark.
I've did that too.
When he pulled me over, I said, "I'm really sorry, officer. I ran it intentionally. I didn't think anyone was around or I'd get caught." Yeah. And you know what? He looked at me and he was like, "I appreciate your honesty, ma'am. I can tell you're not inebriated. Here's a warning." He gave it to me like it was like a slap on the wrist. Yeah. And that's probably privilege as fuck right there. But I feel like
coming from the white girl.
Yeah, I'm aware that it, like, I hope, but I feel like everyone should get treated like that because it was like it
was the truth type of thing.
I told him the truth. I didn't make a decision that
recklessly
anybody, everybody. I get it. The officer has to do what he has to do. I broke the law.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like a bad human being for it. So if you look at something and you don't feel like a bad human being about it, like it's not that wrong. It might not be the most right, but
I think that's the biggest thing too. Like I don't know if I told you, like I get to like in the mentoring field now.
Yeah.
Like for me, what I learned in the Marine Corps was trying to like teach the younger guys. Like I think the biggest thing under my brand, like my mission statement, was always to teach the young and influence the old.
Ooh.
Because everyone that's older than us kind of have, like you said, like they're setting their rules, they're setting their place. Like these rules are meant to be upheld, blah, blah, blah.
Design their life around those rules.
Right.
Yeah.
But then it causes less innovation and less growth. Like they're kind of stuck in their ways. That's why they can't like, they take selfies like this and then they look awkward.
They don't know because they won't change it.
Right. And then anyone's younger than us is like, they're just lost now because it's almost like anarchy for them. Like they believe in no rules. Mm-hmm. But then, there's rules. You just got to pick and choose your battles.
Find them. And, And that's why young people are so great. I think a lot of people skip out on young people. Oh, they don't have any experience. They don't know what they're doing. No, we don't. You're right, but that doesn't mean, like, if anything, we have, a more innovative stance. We have more thoughts coming to us. We're more open. We're more flexible. We're thinking of things that haven't been done. Why would you want us to confine us over and over to things that have been done?
And I think it's like structure. Like for me to play like devil's advocate for being in the military, if everyone had to put their idea to do one goal, then it would just be chaos because no one knows how to. I think we talk about this too. Like listen, you got to learn how to communicate.
Yeah.
Like I truly believe that this is the best way of hashing things out. Yeah. Just 1-on-1, no holds bars. Did we cuss yet? I don't even know.
Fuck.
Yeah. Okay. So then that's it. But it's like, if you have to, you can cuss. If not, just
if that's
let
how
it
you
out.
Express yourself.
Right.
Yeah, I don't limit my brother from cursing. He doesn't curse at anybody. He's never like fuck you. But if he stubs his toe, like he's allowed to say what he needs to say to express his pain.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I've always just said it randomly.
Yeah.
Like this fucking shit. It's like fuck.
In my household, I had to like break down my parents and basically I cursed at everything until they were finally like, oh my god, we just can't even make her shut up. And then like it opened up the conversation finally as to like what was acceptable. You know when you're a kid and your parents are like, don't drink, don't curse, don't, and you're just like, I'm gonna go do all those things. And like it's like it's not fun to give people extremes or ultimatums because they're going to rebel. Like even like you see girls who are cooped up in high school. They live under their parents' rooms. They're not allowed to go out after 8 o'clock.
And those are like the slutty girls in college.
Right? When they get to college and they have no rules, they have no self-control. It's because you didn't teach them how to make independent decisions.
Yeah.
Like you didn't empower them. You trapped them. You isolated them. You empowered them.
Yeah, they don't have a mind of their own.
Mm-hmm.
They've always listened to someone else, give them their life choices.
And they listen to someone who they didn't want to, and that's why they really rebel.
Yeah, and then that's really weird too, because then I think it's kind of like revolves around my other things I talk about with women. It's like if they don't make their own decisions when they're young, when they get older, if a guy's trying to talk them into having sex and they really don't want to, they're going to listen to him because that's all they know.
I hate to say it, but women are taught to be compassive and we're taught to be submissive and we're taught to be polite.
Yeah.
We're not allowed to be bitchy. We're not, I've had it happen before, like, or some guy says, oh, I just can't help it, you're so beautiful. No, you need to get the fuck up my house. But we're not taught to respond like that.
True.
We're always taught to have composure. Same with people of color. You ever notice when they're in situations with cops, people of color are completely calm. They're like, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, to the officer. Mm-hmm. That's how they are taught. They are taught that they always have to be of sound mind in order to be taken seriously.
Yeah, but if it's someone who's white, they kind of like, if they lash out, then it's still not the worst thing.
You can hear it in like the audio recordings. I forget. I'm blanking on it's one of the more famous cases, but he's responding completely, complicitly.
Oh.
he's couldn't be more respectful.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, okay, that's what they've learned, like they've had to do in order to basically not be taken seriously. It's, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Because then the officer thinks that they're just being fake, but then they're actually being genuine. They just don't want any trouble. Just leave me alone. Give me my ticket and I'll go.
Like suffer in silence, or like you have to do it with a straight face anyways, even though you want to lash out, even though you know this isn't fair. Like people who are in positions of not power, like, have been taught to respond like in a complicit manner.
Do you think you have a power trip? Not power trip. Struggle with authority type of thing. Is that what I'm trying to get at?
I don't like. Yeah, I understand people's titles can be like higher than mine, but if they start treating me like lesser than a human, there's definitely a problem. Like I really don't like people's power trips, and people's power trips, like, they don't matter to me. Like I'm. It's just not going to happen. Like, I'm not going to listen.
But what if it was like someone like kind of just trying to help you? Like almost like if someone was like 20 years in the game who's been doing cosmetic tattooing type of stuff, and they're trying to like, hey, you should try it like this.
Oh, then I hope I'd be open to it. Like I'm open to people being better than me and being able to teach me things. I don't want to be so cut off that I'm so great that I can't learn from other people.
Yeah.
I'm down to be humbled. I go to LA every year to humble the shit out of myself for cosmetic tattooing. Like,
really?
The standard there is so much higher. Everyone there is so much better than me. I always come back.
Is it like a convention type of thing?
Yeah, there's like a lot of different artists, and there's speakers at these events sometimes, and you can go see their work, and their standard is way higher out there than it is here. You know, it's LA. Everybody's got a little something done.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it always humbles me when I come back. I feel like this one day of like insane insecurity because I've just gotten back from the best of the best, and then I'm motivated after. Okay, I want to be like them.
Yeah,
you know, I'm glad that I have those experiences.
Do you get a lot of contacts through that, or do you kind of just like watch, observe, and then?
I'm an observer. I like to network a little bit, but I only like to network with people who are better than me. I like to surround myself with people who are up or people who are on my level. Like I like to associate with peers who have the same questions I do and see how they learn and what their techniques are. But I like to, and sometimes I have enough capacity to reach out to people who are maybe not as good as me, and give value to them, but I can tell you that I do not let people who are lesser than me try to tell me what to do. Okay. Follow the people who have the results that you want. If they don't have the results that you want, don't take advice from them.
Okay. Yeah, no, I was just reading another, it was a book. It was a book. But it related like mental systems. So there's a MMA fighter named Frank Shamrock. He has a mental system called plus minus equal. Who has a similar concept of what you just said. You should always, in anything that you truly are passionate about, have someone greater than you so that you can learn from, someone equal you to push you forward, to have like some competition. Yeah. And then someone less than you so you can teach. So you can kind of cement what you learn type of thing. Yeah.
You know that you have really grasped what you learned when you can extend that knowledge to other people.
Right. Yeah. And I don't know. I think I'm kind of do that too in terms of trying to expand, trying to scale this crazy business stuff that we're learning.
I think in the future, like right now, I am not in a too teachable place just because I'm still a student myself. But one day I hope to be more in a place of teaching and outreaching.
I feel like you are, you just don't believe in it. Because say like, for some, I'm not gonna say for some odd reason. Say I want to start tattooing. I don't know shit. You have more knowledge than me. Well, you could teach me shit.
But like people ask me about like, oh, are you doing classes for Tai Brows? And I'm like, not yet.
I mean, you could say like I'm not doing classes, but you could like apprentice.
No.
No, like just to have them watch.
No, I'm not ready.
No, you just okay. I'm just saying it's an idea because I think like in like you could scale. Like, you could have people here too. So you can do multiple people at one time?
I had a couple students once, and it was a fun experience. I'm glad I did it. I love teaching, I really do.
Yeah.
But at the end of it, when I sent them off into the world to like go and tattoo, I didn't feel good about it.
Yeah, I wouldn't let them go.
Right? It freaks you out. And I think that's one of the responsibilities of like being a teacher is then you go send your little proteges out into the world, and that is a reflection of how confident you are in your skill.
I want to ask you about that actually now that I think about it, because I think I found this throughout all women I've ever known. It's that mom complex.
Oh.
If you have that, if you taught someone something, you never want to let them go because you never think they're ready. That thing that you just say, like, because it's like kind of like what you did. You would never learn what you learn now unless someone just dropped you on your ass. Now, handle it, type of thing. It was depressing, like you were saying, but you learned for the better.
I like to spend a lot of time. I train people for dancing too, and I've had more success with that.
Okay.
But with tattooing, the way the apprenticeship world works with permanent makeup right now, you don't apprentice people for months. Unfortunately, you only apprentice them for days. And I really disagree with the system.
Is that like through like a curriculum type of thing or what? Yeah.
Oh. So with body art tattoos, you usually apprentice people for years. These standards are way higher.
Yeah.
With cosmetic tattooing, the regulation is just not there. The field is so new. A lot of states don't even require licensing. You can just pick this shit up on Amazon and go do it in your basement.
Shit.
It's sketchy as shit, right? So then you got a lot of people getting bad results. So just where the industry is at, no one would take me up on a mentorship opportunity for months and months and months, which is what I would want. Right. So like my dancers, they went through this period of me where I kind of micromanaged them. I told them everything I wanted. They really put up with me. I expect really specific things. Yeah. And now I do trust them. I'm like, hey, here's the gig. Here's your outfit. Go. I completely trust you to represent my company. Yeah. But it just took me a while to get with them there for them to like understand what I wanted. And I very hand selectively picked them. Mm-hmm. I think when I was doing like sales and network marketing early and I was just recruiting left and right, I wasn't picky about who was saying yes to me. I was just, whoever said yes to me, I would take. Yeah. But now that I'm like much further in business, you do have to be selective. Who are you going to give the power of that information to? Have you ever had to fire someone? Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That to me is like the scariest thing. It's like you're just not coming up to standard. I don't think I can help you at this point. Yeah. There was just a person who was not representing our company correctly, and she had done a couple of really sketchy business. I don't think she meant to. Like, she was a good person, but after like 3 strikes, I was just like, you know what, nothing personal, but we can't continue our working together business relationship, and it is what it is. How do you feel about this saying? You can't teach someone if they're not willing to learn, type of thing. Yeah. I've been that stubborn person who's not willing to learn. I can definitely say that. Yeah, I keep saying that because you do that yourself. There's situations where I'm just like, I'm not ready and I'm not willing. And it's not, I mean, yeah, it's a stubbornness thing, but it's also usually because I don't see the value in it. Like, some things I'm just like, oh, I don't need to learn that. It's not going to be useful for me yet. And so it just takes a little while for me to finally be in a place where I see the value, where I see, okay, like maybe that person can help me. I was gonna say, like, have you ever met someone like you trying to do something that you're doing? But maybe more like dancing. Say like you found like a 21-year-old Kira, and then she found you, like, hey, I wanna work for your company, but she was like, I got it. I know what to do. I know my moves. Well, give me that poll. I don't want to give off this impression that I don't ever accept people's like advice. Yeah. Because if anything, I'm not accepting of it from most of my peers. They still just don't have what I want. So I always want like higher ups to tell me what to do. People who really got it. Right. So I just listen to very few people. Which, I mean, you should. You should be very selective about your sources. The pool gets smaller at the top. I was at the biggest belief that you can learn from everyone, but you keep the things that you like. you can't learn everything from everyone, but
Right.
you can learn from everyone.
Yeah. I'm just saying there's something that you can learn from them, and I'm not saying you should necessarily take what you learn, but it's almost like just another skill to see like what else is out there.
Yeah.
Just to know that something is there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm probably I'm definitely still more on the stubborn side
Yeah.
of like adopting. Like if I just don't like someone, I might not adopt anything they do, even if it is valuable, and I could probably work on that a little more. But for the most part, I think it's beneficial to just be selective about where you're getting your information and try to just surround yourself with people who are better than you. It's probably why I don't have friends. They're all better than me, and they don't want me in their circle. I'm a trip.
This makes me want to be your friend now. I don't know why. Is this time for wine?
I don't know. I guess we should do that. My brother's probably waiting.
Oh, gotcha. What are you curious about right now? What makes you curious?
I'm all about right now stimulation and immersion.
What stimulates you, and what do you like to get immersed in?
So anything. I think my ADHD is really like motivated me throughout the last couple of years. Like, okay, what does stimulate me? Like I can't read I can't read books. I can't sit down and read a book.
Mm-hmm.
In order for me to digest a book, I have to listen to the book while I'm doing physical tasks. I have to be walking, I have to be cleaning, I have to be like, I don't know, screw driving something, whatever.
Is that how you read The Alchemist?
Yes.
Okay.
Several times, actually.
Gotcha.
It's because I'm always doing something physical to stimulate me mentally so that I can absorb this book.
Yeah.
So learning those like tricks and techniques is really interesting. Sometimes I'm a better multitasker because I'm being stimulated by 8 different things, so that it keeps my attention.
Right.
So right now I'm exploring art. We're building art installations and experiences.
Like your car type of thing, or what do you mean?
Kind of my car. We built this like disco ball tower that, right, and it sounds crazy, it was basically like these huge disco balls, some small ones, and they were arranged into a structure, and we put it on a rotating platform, and when you put floor lights up on it, it was beautiful. I'll show you a picture because words are just not going to do it justice.
Okay.
And the effect that I created in the room, I mean, it kind of felt like you were tripping out. Like, when it moved, you wouldn't be moving, but the room was rotating like ever so slightly. And this was like one of our first art commissions to like do something crazy like this. It was a pop-up party, like an art party. We built a couple other things, like these big flower walls that you saw out there.
Yeah.
So that's my initiative right now, is that I'm trying to get into. I love performance art. It's very direct immersion, like, oh, fire, pretty. Or dancing. My goal when I dance is not to like show you my best moves. It's to make you want to dance too. You know what I mean? So with art, like we're going for this immersion, like people really getting lost in something that they've never seen, or the experience that they've never
just
had.
being mesmerized, like the LED glows and like raves.
Yeah, kind of a step up from raves.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah. You got the whole show.
Yeah.
They're just doing like little tricks.
There's all kinds of ways to do it. People are experimenting with, graphic designs. I feel like artists and entrepreneurs are the future, because you can't duplicate that. You know how like all these jobs are being replaced by machines?
Yeah.
You can't replace someone with a unique idea.
Right.
You can't. And so we're going to see like this I think, revolution in people who start smaller businesses, create communities that thrive. Fuck the 1%. Like, we're going to build it from the ground up. You're going to see artists who, everybody told artists, oh, you're never going to make a living from your art. And there's tons of people doing it. So that's what I'm hoping is in the future for me and other artists, is that we are going to show the world that there's so much more to experience than the mundane, than the confines of what everybody told us.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. I'll end it at that. Do you want to shout out anything that you want to say? Anything else? Or is there anything else you want to talk about specifically?
No, I think that's my whole life story.
Sweet.
Can I shout out my businesses?
Yeah, where can they find you?
Okay, so my two businesses are Tai Brows, where I do cosmetic enhancement and permanent makeup. We're actually in my studio right now. This is where the bomb-ass lighting is coming from.
Yeah, this is fancy.
So if you've ever heard about microblading or powder fill eyebrows, or you just want some help with your eyeliner every morning, I got you. I've been doing this for about 3 years as a licensed esthetician. And then my other business is Pineapple Tai Entertainment. That is the really fun stuff where we do all kinds of different performance art, fire performances, LED performances, our own custom costuming, still walking, circus stuff, and also art installations like the disco ball tower I was talking about. So that is Tai Brows and Pineapple Tai Entertainment. Those are my two things. So if you want to hear more about entrepreneurship, if you want to see females running their own business,
Instagram handle, Facebook, Twitter, blah blah blah. Anything?
We have Instagram and we have Facebook. I have a website for Tai Brows, but we're developing one for Pineapple Tai. So at tai.brows, TAI.brows, and at Pineapple Tai. That is Pineapple TAI, not Thai food, not tie your shoe, not tie dye. TAI.
There's a lot of ties.
Yeah, and no one ever gets it right. Sorry, I'm just like made it complicated.
Okay, cool. As always, you can find me on IG, Twitter, Snapchat, Sumo Lifts. Well, I think Snapchat's B Sumardi. If you want to support the page or support the podcast, you can go to sumolifts.com, grab yourself a t-shirt, maybe a jacket. Also, there's a Patreon account, patreon.com/The Ketchup. And goodbye.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Bam.
Hey!